course, this is the biggest report that is causing a lot of stares as we speak at the moment on social media, and everyone's reacted. Almost all the Nigeria's newspapers are reporting what's on the front page today, the report by the National Bureau of Statistics on Nigeria's corruption report. That report, or a survey conducted between June 2015 and June 2016 by NBS, is what is the big story. Of course, you'll see in the headlines the figure that was put out according to this survey conducted by the NBS alongside the UN OTC and ProShare Nigeria. Says about 400 billion naira was what bribes were taken by government officials in a particular year over a 12-month period. This report, about 40 pages in terms of infographics, very heavy. So let's take you through some of them. Of course, this covers not just the public sector, but the private sector as well. But of course, as you can expect, some of the fireworks have been as far as the public sector is concerned. Thank you, everyone, for coming on the program. Today is Thursday, the 17th of August, and I am Bosun Amafayo on the program. Let's go with the first infographics, and you see what you call the reach of bribery in Nigeria. For those who haven't, who are just waking up to this story, which is about 24 hours, she shows the data that you can see the prevalence and frequency of bribery among the national level, urban and rural reading. This is quite heavy for your eyes, but of course we're going to take you through very quickly. Let's roll to the next page, and that shows the prevalence of bribery state by state in Nigeria. So if you look at the Nigeria's 36 states and the Federation, the heavy green are the areas where you look at the prevalence of bribery. You see where it is heaviest the most, in deep green, and the light one that's almost white are the parts of Nigeria where bribery, according to this survey, is said to be less reduced. That's the that's what that is showing there in terms of those numbers, prevalence of a bribery. Then you move on to the next one. And there you have the average number of bribes paid to public officials by adults in Nigeria as at the year 2016. And look at the that little bar chart there showing you region by region: southwest, northwest, north central, south south, and the rest there. Take us to the next one. Flip that over, folks. Let's go quickly on this. Thank you very much. And you see the prevalence of the frequency of bribes in the private sector at the national level, and you can see Nigeria there vis-a-vis a few other countries. You can see the private sector is also guilty of bribery or corrupt practices. And as you go on, you can see some of the private sector, part of the subsectors of the private sector that were fingered in this particular report. Let's take that away and move on to the next one. And you can see the percentage distribution of bribes paid to public officials by the modality of bribes they requested and offered. Remember, for every bribery, there is both a giver and a taker. For a bribe to take place, it has to be a willing giver, or perhaps a non-willing giver, but a very ready person to accept it. And you can see the pie chart there. That's it. I haven't lost most of my school days here. That's a pie chart. And you can see the heaviest green there showing you what the numbers are. Okay, I'll flip that over again, and let's check through the percentage distribution of bribes paid to public officials by the bribe, and that is a bit of a pie chart. Sorry, of a what they call a bar chart this morning there. Roll it over. I'm looking for the private sector, and that distribution in the terms of forms of payment. They look a little bit gray. You can get all the numbers if you go on NBS website. All the numbers are out there. But let's go at how the bribery works. And that's the next one. How does it work? Okay, that's the distribution of the offers by form of payments. All these are a bit of things you need to take some time to see what the green, the deep green, the yellow, and the pink bars were all about. I'm going to go straight to what's the key findings. Who take bribes? Public officials according to this report, in relation to the work they do. And you have public officials to whom the highest are paid, members of the armed forces, police officers, tax and revenue officers. But if we start from the top, police officers got 46.6%. They are the most corrupt, according to this report. Prosecutors, 33%. Prosecutors mean those who bring cases to courts. Judges and magistrates, 31.5%. Members of the armed forces, 5.7% bribes to police officers, tax revenues, customs officers in terms of numbers. Judges and magistrates collect an average of about 18,576, and then the cash paid to police officers before a direct request or services provided, 29.7% of all bribes. That employees of insurance companies, teachers in private sector, doctors in private hospitals, and of course in the banking sector as well. We have a lot to talk about. The man who's going to unpack all of this and the whistleblowing policy status is Bismarck Rawani, the Chief Executive Officer at Financial Derivatives Company, and he's coming here in a couple of minutes here on the program. But let's go into the markets. Let's get a bit of a review of yesterday's trading day. The market is sinking a little bit despite those better than expected numbers from Zenith Bank last Friday and Zenith Bank to start the current week. So we got a negative 2.68% yesterday. The first 2 days we lost about 300 billion. If you add yesterday's figures, we've lost about ½ trillion naira since this week started. Despite that, however, we're still one of the best performing markets in Africa. We're still doing around 29%, about 31% on the all-share index since 2017 started. In volume terms, we're just about tracking what we call our daily average. In value terms, not significantly lower, 4.02 billion. We've seen 6 billion in a single day. In terms of deals, still on track, over 4,000.